Hey guys, and welcome back to Confessions of a Doctorholic. If you're new here, my name is Hafsa, and I'm a general surgery resident. And this podcast is where I share real life stories from behind the scenes inside the hospital. And today's story is one of those cases where, from the beginning, nothing made sense. So we get a patient coming in after a car crash, young, otherwise healthy, but the story we got was super strange. Apparently, after the car crash, she got out of her car, runs into the snow, and then ends up collapsing inside a random person's house. And when I heard that, I'm like, why? How does this make any sense at all? I guess in trauma, this can happen sometimes when people are injured, when they've got a head trauma, or when the adrenaline runs super high. They can act in ways that wouldn't make logical sense. They could be confused, disoriented, running, not realizing how injured they really are in that moment. So she comes in and it's immediately clear this is not a minor injury. She's in pain, she's unstable, and we start doing the usual trauma assessments. And we find it. Her pelvis is shattered. We could see it on the x-ray, which is a pretty big deal because not only is the pelvis meant to be this super stable structure and it takes heaps of force to break it, but also there's heaps of major blood vessels running through there. So when it fractures, there's a huge risk of internal bleeding. So the orthopedic surgery team takes her to the OR and they place something called this external fixator. So if you've never seen this before, it looks like something out of a horror movie, like one of those torture movies from back in the day. It's basically metal rods and pins placed outside the body to stabilize the bones. And the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, this looks so traumatizing. Like genuinely, it's one of those moments where you pause and you think, is this real or am I in a movie? Then later, they take her back to the OR again, and this time it was a more definitive repair, and all those external stuff was removed, and they fixed her pelvis internally. But that's not all, because she also had a massive vascular injury. One of the arteries in her leg, the femoral artery, was bleeding, so they had to control that, and they did something called an embolization, which basically means blocking off the bleeding vessel because it was so extensive. So instead of open surgery, they go through blood vessels and block it from the inside. But here's where things get complicated, because when you block blood flow in that region, you risk cutting off circulation to nearby tissues as well, including very sensitive areas. And on top of that, she had a vaginal laceration, which made the whole situation such a shit show. Because now you've got trauma, bleeding, blood supply issues, and healing in a very delicate area. And I remember thinking, how did all of this happen? How bad was this crash, really? This is the thing about trauma. The human body can go through extreme forces, and the injuries don't always make sense. But despite everything, she survived, which was honestly incredible given the severity of her injuries. And in cases like this, it reminds you how unpredictable trauma is. It's not straightforward, it's not always logical, and sometimes the story you get at the beginning can be completely different or explains only a fraction of what actually happened. So, confession. Some trauma cases don't make sense at first, and sometimes they never will. But that's not our role here. I want to ask you guys something. Have you ever done something in a moment of shock or panic that didn't make sense afterwards? Share it with me, anytime, any place. Alrighty guys, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you next time.